show. Always Irish show. Always Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Halloween edition of the Always Irish Show. Oh, it's great to be here on a winning Monday morning. It just feels great to cause Pat Narduzzi to have his latest breakdown. I love all of it. I'm here for all of it. I am here for another Narduzzi meltdown. And how appropriate. Notre Dame's going to Death Valley with Death, Grim Reaper stuff on their mind. Going into Death Valley. That's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I want. All right? This is a big week. We got to crank up the energy here. Notre Dame's got all of their big picture goals that they have left in front of them, waiting in Death Valley. This is a big damn week for Notre Dame. This is a big, big week for Notre Dame. Death Valley's on life support. Finish it. Finish it. So I'm all worked up about this. And it doesn't have to do with my looks. It has to do with what Notre Dame has left to play for. All right? And it's a big deal. Notre Dame, we talk about Notre Dame's in everybody's Super Bowl. You know, you play Notre Dame, it's Super Bowl. Notre Dame needs to make it their Super Bowl down at Death Valley. Both these teams have some issues. They're not going to the playoffs, but Notre Dame's got more to play for. Find a way to beat these guys. All right? So let's get into this. I'm going to try and do the best I can today. We're going to see how long I can go before I lose my mind. It's a little tough in here. I think I can hear the calls. We're going to see. We're going to see. All right, so let's get into this. Happy Halloween. I had to go a day out. I don't go live on Tuesdays. Give me a break. So I had to do what I had to do. John doesn't look any different. Yeah, tell me about it. And for anybody asking what I am for Halloween, I am myself in my natural form by the time Notre Dame wins another championship. I'm getting ahead of the curve. How appropriate. Anyways, it's hard to see in this thing. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications on that way. You will learn it every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter. Search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysIrishND@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. The call-in lines. 312. Oh, got a couple phone calls. Get right to you. The call-in lines. 312-988-15. You tell Skeleton Johnny all you've heard and seen on Halloween. Oh, see what I did there? Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it. We got articles. I got in a writing mood yesterday. Wrote a bunch of stuff that's going to go up on there about Clemson, about what it means, about what we need to do. All of that. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. That would be me and Mike Goolsby. You might have heard of a former Notre Dame captain, now Johnny's partner. Imagine that. Also, the show's brought to you by NDSubwayAlumni.com. Okay. And that's a cause that means a lot to me. How important the Subway alumni group is to Notre Dame and the history of Notre Dame and the success of Notre Dame and the sustainability of Notre Dame. All right. The Subway alums have a lot to do with that. So ndsubwayalumni.com. Get a Lewski, a Shotsky, get a Lewski. Brought to you by Lou Alts. Get one of those, get a t-shirt, whatever. Great community run by really nice, good people. So be sure to be there. Okay. And so somebody just said, John, I thought you were going to put on a Halloween mask. Yeah, I know. But this is really what I was going for, is the look of what I will look like after Notre Dame wins their next title. It's good. I just hope it isn't going to be that long. But at the pace we've been going for 30 years, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know how much more time I got under this stress level. And I'm always talking about, Brian Kelly and Notre Dame, whatever's going on this year makes me lose my hair. I don't have that problem anymore as this guy. I don't have a problem here. Kent says, please tell us all of what Michigan's heard and seen. I don't have enough time for that, bro. How long do you think this show's going to go today? I don't have the time for that. It's the list is too long. Unbelievable. And I'm sure we don't even know all the stuff they've heard and seen yet. Come on. No way, Adam. I tested this. You should be able to hear me. Give me a break. I'm talking right in the mic. Tell me you can hear me. Oh, boy. All right. We got some, you know what? I'm going to do Spygate. Yeah, tell me. John's got some skeletons in his closet and in the studio. For real, though, tell me. I want to make sure I sound good. I realize it's a little muffled, but I want to have fun with it. I'll talk right into the mic. Let me know how it goes. Oh, man. All right. We'll do a couple chats. And then I'm going to go right to the phone calls. We got a couple. Let's do our super chats here. $5 holler from the V1 a rotate. We are almost done with the season. How do you rate Hartman, and how do you compare him to recent ND QBs such as Wimbush, Cone, Book, Pine, Buckner? Here's what I thought. I was talking to Goolsby about this. I think we all just wanted a little more, and we hoped for a little more. But the tricky part of that is there are other issues on the offense. And it's very, very hard to parse out if the offense doesn't look good enough for some reason, how much of it is Sam Hartman individually versus the collective group, or Parker, or the wide receiver issues, or sometimes some games the O-line had trouble blocking. That's the part that I struggle with, is I don't know how much I can put on him when the offense overall has other issues there. So I think we all wanted a little more out of him probably, but I don't know that that's all his fault that we didn't get it. So that's where it's tough. And the next big thing Notre Dame's got to deal with is that quarterback and offense issue. I'm already thinking of that. The season's not over. But I'm already thinking of down the line, what is this offensive plan and who's going to be the quarterback? And so there's just some big picture issues here that got to be figured out. So I appreciate that. Thank you for the chat. $2 holler from Willie B. Art again. Can't answer that. Looking good. Happy Halloween to Always Irish Nation. I appreciate that. Where's Lenny? Nicky Dean likes to be heard and seen. He says, where's Lenny? Lenny's in the corner. He's keeping an eye out. Lenny's special occasion. Lenny, Halloween's pretty regular. The Lenny's for special occasions. Like maybe the blue and gold game next year. I like having him out there. A couple more chats, and then I'm going to give the callers their due. T-Rex, nice win this weekend. Despite their record, Clemson going to be tougher than expected, hence the -3.5 spread. Cannot sleepwalk this week, as this is the toughest remaining opponent. And is that not the theme of the week? Like this right there by the T-Rex, that is the Notre Dame theme of the week. Like we talk about, we're always somebody else's Super Bowl. It's time to make this Clemson game our Super Bowl because it is the biggest, toughest game you have left. And if you win it, you should be lining up for 10-2 and maybe a New Year's 6, and that's a big deal. And maybe you'll have a chance to knock that big bowl thing off and kill that. So this needs to be a big deal to Notre Dame. And I do care that Clemson's 4-4. I do care about that. But they got a lot of talent for 4-4. That's the thing. They're not all 4-4s are built together. Their 4-4 is not like we have no talent around and we're just getting beat. Their 4-4 is they have talent and they're just a mess. But that's dangerous because I know that they have top 10 talent in the country. Clemson has top 10 talent in the country. Overall roster, go down it. They have a top 10 talented team. They're just playing like dog anus all year. Mistake after mistake after mistake. Drive the ball, turnover, bonehead play. Like they're finding ways to lose, but it ain't because they have no talent. Now, I do like the fact that you're getting them at 11 a.m. It's 11 a.m. my time. I like that. Let's get this baby going. I don't need no night game where they're drinking for 20 hours and I don't need all that. And they'd be angry drinking the way they are right now. I don't mind this early window. Go in there. It's Death Valley, and they're on life support in Death Valley. It's your job to drive the final stake through Clemson this year. It's the only acceptable outcome. It's the only acceptable outcome. All right? So that's what I need. Mark, it would be very Notre Dame-y to lose to Clemson. Well, the issue is you got to fight Clemson having the ND vibe of last year, where your season's done, you're not going to even a New Year's 6, and all you can do left is rise up for your own pride to beat somebody that people think might be better than you. You got to end that. I don't know where Clemson's at in their minds as a team, all that. I just know that for 4-4, there's a lot of talent. T-Rex, 10-2 with the New Year's 6 win is critical to the program's ascension. The potential is there as they displayed the last 2 games. Tighten up some loose ends at wide receiver and you're a top 4 team. That's my light at the end of the tunnel here. Like, there's nothing we could do about the games that are lost and the 2 games. There's nothing you could do. All you could do is finish this year 10-2, get into one of those games. That's it. Finish with those double-digit wins and get into one of those games ready to go. And that would be a great, considering you had your second loss the first weekend of October. If you're able to run the rest of this string out and end up 10-2 and in one of those games, man, that's a good way to bounce back after 2 horribly painful losses in totally different ways. So that's what I need to see. Bruce, you're coming up on the line. Good morning, team. Great win on Saturday. I think there's less room for criticism, but we can still improve. Anxious to hear where John's gripes lie after a dominating win. Check out the Format podcast. The offense just isn't good enough. And I think it's not going to be this year. So you just have to get by and make it work. I realize Notre Dame scored 1 million points. I still know the offense is nowhere near real life good enough. Period. And I don't feel bad saying that because we won by a lot. I'm not allowed to say that. The offense is still nowhere near real world playoff level offense that I need it to be. Not even close. You can't even see it from where we're at. But the issue is we're so far down this path, you're looking at the end. So I love the way the defense is playing. I even love the way special teams is making big plays the last couple of games. But that offense is nowhere near where I need it to be, and we're so late in the year, it ain't going to change now. It ain't going to change now. So now when you're talking about the offense, then my mind goes to, you got to find a way to get through this year, and then what are we doing with Parker? Are we doubling down on whatever this is? And who's going to be the next quarterback? That's what's in my mind. And the other thing is this. Callers, I'm coming right to you. The other thing is this. I don't want to be a jerk, but the best time to complain about something is when you win by a lot, because you're not mad because you lost. I'm in a lot better mood to look at what we need to improve on in a huge win than a loss. And it shows you did enough to win, and there's more room to get better on top of it. I love that. That's when I'm in my best mental state to look at what we need to do better, is after a big win. It ain't after a loss when you messed it up. You need to look for areas to improve in your wins so everybody isn't miserable while you're doing it. Oh, boy. Tell you what, it's getting sweaty in here. Notre Dame says, are you kidding me? The offense still stuck in the mud. Right. I've accepted the fact this is the offense. It ain't changing this year. You're getting what you're getting. The last 3 games ain't going to be something new. So I'm looking at, how do you leverage the way this defense is playing right now? Getting a special teams game-breaking play a game. And how do you make that all work with the offense and get by at 10-2, worry about the bowl game? But I'm done being like, oh, maybe this offense will look different this year. No, it ain't. You're getting what you're getting, and I'm looking to the future of what it's going to be. Jay Carr, I think this week is crucial to get creative in the run game. If Parker calls vanilla run plays with 3 tight ends on the field, it's going to be a long afternoon. Yeah, you would like to see some of that for sure. The interesting part of this is Clemson's offense struggles, but their defense is still pretty damn good. The defense is not the reason Clemson is losing all these games. And Notre Dame's weakness to me is offense right now. That's the least stable part of the team is offense, and that's what they're best at. That is a matchup concern if you're a Notre Dame fan. You got to hope that your defense is able to get after Cade Klubnik and make him throw you the ball a couple times, which he's liked to do this year. Angela, good to see you. Happy Halloween to you as well. Angela knows from college, I like to dress up for Halloween. I love it. Narduzzi throws his mother under the bus. I mean, I got to mention it, and then I'll get to the calls. Hang in with me. I mean, I got to mention it. You're always going to get a Narduzzi meltdown, and each one is better than the last. Like, there's no amount of Narduzzi meltdown where I'm going to be like, that's too much of a Narduzzi meltdown. No, give me another one. Give me another one. I absolutely love the way we broke that guy. He had his little notepad on the sideline. Every time Notre Dame made a play, he wrote it down right away. Oh, I don't know how to cope. I'm going to write this note. Yell about this later. If anybody missed it, I don't know how you did. Narduzzi gets in the postgame and says, and they're like, how did we end up here, coach? Why do we suck so bad? And Narduzzi goes, well, we lost 20 guys off last year's team, and we thought we replaced them with good players, but apparently we were wrong. So Narduzzi throws his whole team under the bus, says that the players suck, gets out of the meeting, gets out of the press conference. His PR people say that didn't go over well. Everybody's mad at you. Then he goes on Twitter. Oh, I really mean that it's me. Blame me. Not the guys. It's all on me. There's never a Narduzzi meltdown I ain't here for. I'm here for it. I live for it. Today I die for it. I'm here for a Narduzzi meltdown, people. I need it. Sunchance Kid, what's going on? Yeah, don't be sleeping on Clemson. Our best play on the road this season was a C-plus game in September with 2 intermissions. I'm preparing for a dogfight. Bob, that's a very good point, Bob. Very good point. And you know what else? Notre Dame's offensive line has played much better at home than on the road all year. That is a delineating fact. They have played way better at home than they played on the road. That's a real thing. Nobody should be taking Clemson lightly. Like, there's a difference between saying they're down and almost out and really vulnerable and overlooking them. But Notre Dame's got to build this game up. This needs to be, we talk about everybody else's Super Bowl. You need to make this one yours. You need this game. You need this game. Couple more chats. I'll get caught up with those. Then we'll give the callers some time. Phil says, is it bad we scored 58 and I'm still questioning the offense? No, because you know what you're looking at. You know what you're looking at. It's perfectly acceptable to love this win, embrace this win, love Pat Narduzzi's misery, love the blowout, and to recognize the offense isn't playoff level, and that bothers you. There's nothing wrong with mentioning that. And again, spare me, we won by a lot, and you're still going to worry about, complain about something. Yes, until everything's playoff level, hell yes. How about that for an answer, Notre Dame fans? If something isn't good enough, even in a win, I'm going to point it out. Is that not fair? Just because Notre Dame won by a lot, I can't say I wish the offense was better overall. Are we that weak-minded? I love this win. Knowing Narduzzi's mad makes me happy. But I still know our offense ain't near real life. Oh, I'm getting itchy and sweaty. This is going to be rough. All right, let's go to a couple calls. Bruce, what's going on in Florida, Bruce?
John, good morning.
What's going on, man?
Hey, nothing much. So I had some notes and things I've been thinking about over the last couple of days. So to touch on your last thing you said about about the fact that you are able, after a big win, to still look at the whole thing and identify what needs work, right? It reminds me of Shannon Sharp. He always talks about when he was with the Broncos. And Mike Shanahan told him after he had a huge game, he called him in his office, showed him the tape, and said, "Hey, you need to fix this, fix that, fix that." And he's like, "Come on, coach. I had how many catches for 100-something and 3 touchdowns." Shanahan told him, "I'll never accept something in a win that I wouldn't in a loss." So I kind of get where you're coming from in terms of.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I just think, man, I took some heat on Bruce on the post-game call-in show because there were a lot of people in there, and I knew they would be kind of still worried about the offense. And then there was a decent group of people that said, can't you guys just enjoy the win for tonight? We blew out a team, scored 40-something in the second half. Can we just worry about it later? So there was a little bit of a split there. But Bruce, my mind is kind of made up now. The offense is the offense. You just have to make it work the rest of the year. It's not going to get better and be what I wanted at this point. You have 3 games left. So you just got to get through Clemson and then try and end 10-2 and then think about all that later. But as for this win, you got to love it, man. A little weird start, but hey, man, you blew them out, and I'm here for that.
Yeah. So I'll get into my notes here and then get out of here for you. But first, right? So of course, as we've been talking about, there's always room for improvement. However, and this is something I thought specifically about you watching the game. The last 2 games we've had, I believe, 3-phase scoring, 3-phase almost excellence because the offense, like we said, can use some work. But we've been very good in all 3 phases the last 2 games, and that's something that you harp on constantly. So that these are things that we got to look at and say, okay, granted, you can't count on all these turnovers, but you can count on the defense being stout. You can count on the special teams. Looks like it's finally come around. Like there's a big adjustment from losing Brian Mason, but that looks like it's finally come around. And when the defense is putting the offense in position, the offense is cashing in. So there's something to be said for that. No, we're not going bombs away and making all the explosive plays we'd like. And no, we're not, consistently hitting on 80-yard drives to score. But when the defense is putting the offense in positions, the offense is catching in. And to me, that's just as important as having a flashy, quote unquote, modern offense.
Yep. I totally get that. And with the defense, here's what I'm saying. That middle stretch of tough games or whatever, and where we lost the 2 games, the defense has played good enough to win every game this year. Even Louisville, they played with, if the offense did half of anything, we would be in position to win that game. They got worn down. That isn't all on them. They weren't great that night, but it wasn't all on them. And the offense did nothing to help them all night.
Right.
Here's what I like, Bruce. What I like is that defense was doing a solid job. Now they're doing an exceptional job. They were like in position, bend but don't break, keeping you in game. Now they're making game-changing plays, pick sixes, boatloads of interceptions. Like those ramp it up to a different level. And the last couple games especially, they are making game-ruining, game-wrecking plays. And it feels like it's contagious, Bruce. That's what I like. It feels like they're in a groove and they're flying around and the ball's finding them, kind of. I love that. And then you know how I am with special teams. I have no patience for bad special teams. Now you're getting special teams plays. So I love that. And those things provide cushion for the offense that sometimes looks a little like it's struggling. That builds you some margin there. And I love it, dude. This defense is flying around. There's a lot of young guys making plays. I love all of that, man. This defense is playing great right now. It's beautiful to watch.
I agree. I love what Xavier Watts is doing, really picking up the slack, because last year, Benjamin Morrison, I think he was he was freshman All-American, and I think second team All-American at corner. And he had 6 or 7 picks last year, a couple pick sixes. But obviously, he's not. People know who he is this season, so they're not throwing to him nearly as much. But Xavier Watts at safety is now picking up the slack. He's got 6 picks leading the country this year. So, like to your point, guys are really making plays, and exactly what you just said, giving the offense a chance. And I love to see that. And Xavier Watts, he may be playing himself into a higher draft position also, which is another thing we love to see, for our guys.
Yeah, and you know what else too, man? I want to make this a point with Tyree, who's making big game-changing plays, and Watts. I love seeing those guys that have switched positions because it's best for the team, and to be humble enough to be able to make that switch and be honest about the realities of where you're going to be able to see the field and all that. And most maximize your benefit to yourself and the team. For both of those guys to switch positions and then now have success and flash in their new roles big time. I always love to see this. I double love to see it when those guys are being rewarded for being team first guys and making that switch. I love to see it. And the other part, Bruce, is younger guys are making plays. Christian Gray out there, like, it's great to get that play. It's better when it's a young guy. Mickey, these guys, Notre Dame's building more talent. They're getting better. They're getting more athletic. You could see it. It ain't a finished product, but they're getting there, Bruce. I could see that with my eyes, I think.
Yeah, I do see it.
Before they fell out of my skull this morning, I could anyways.
Right. Last thing I want to touch on before I get out of here is the offense really as bad as we think, or is it the lack of the big play downfield threats that's hindering what we want to see from Notre Dame? Because again, as I mentioned, when the defense is putting them in position, they are catching in. They are continuing to run the football. I think a big issue is, for whatever reason, Notre Dame is much better run blockers than pass blockers. Not sure why that is. But, I mean, here and there, they are getting some deep shots. You had one from Meriwether finally making another showing this past weekend. You're seeing Chris Tyree getting some deep shots. And it's very interesting. Rico Flores, he seems to have this connection with Hartman. James Hartman won't be there next year, but it's kind of odd that they have that, a 6th-year guy and then a true freshman. But I think the offense is not as bad as a lot of us Irish fans are making it out to be. What's your thought on that?
I think I would just like a little more consistent rhythm and efficiency. Like, I realize you're not going to get the downfield shots as much as we want and all that. I just kind of more efficiency, Bruce, like more flow, more rhythm. Things look too choppy too often. And you don't need to throw it downfield necessarily to have that feature. But the issue is, I was arguing with Goolsby about this last night. He wants to put more of it on Hartman than anybody else that like doing involved in this. He's saying you guys all bought in that Hartman was going to raise the bar, and he's the last one you're criticizing for where we're falling short. And he's going, Hartman's not doing what I wanted a 6-year guy to do on his own to make this look better, even with the wide receiver issues and all that. But where I'm at is where it isn't electric enough or efficient enough. I don't know why. Is it a little bit of Hartman, a little of the receivers, a little of Parker, the O-line at times? I don't know the reasons. Maybe a little bit of everything, and that's frustrating because people want to point at one thing and blame it, and the reality is it's probably 4 or 5 little things all mixed in.
Got it. So here's the thing. I just thought about this. Is it that we kind of, and I promise this is the last thing, is it that we maybe expected more from Hartman that we're getting than we are getting? Or is it that we have a first-year OC or a confluence of both? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, we expect Hartman. He's a 6-year guy. He's got all the experience in the world. Throws a lot of touchdowns. He's smart, but he's not a physically explosive guy in terms of arm strength, in terms of mobility. Maybe we expected more from him than what he's capable of giving.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just frustrating. Bruce, how do you describe it when you're looking at something and it doesn't flow? You just know it doesn't flow. It's always there in the background, man. This offense just doesn't click like an offense you want it to click. There's something there, and I don't know if it's personnel or what it is, man. There's just a hitch there.
Yeah, I hear you.
How about a little
it's something that
Bruce, how about this? I was thinking about this last night. I know Notre Dame wants to control the clock and run the ball. 937-336 coming up next. I know Notre Dame wants to control the clock, run the ball, and all that. Sometimes I wonder, what if they tried to go up tempo early in the game a little bit? Not super fast, but speed it up a little to try and create some more of that rhythm and get a drive going. Like, why can't I just see a little bit of that even to mix it up? Maybe just up the tempo a little bit, try and get a little rhythm there. Like, give me something.
Well, you can't really do tempo as much if you are a power running team. Power run teams don't really do a lot of tempo. That's for high flying spread type offenses. And yeah, obviously Notre Dame uses spread concepts, but that's not what they do. And so tempo doesn't match up with that.
But there's nothing you could do within what you're running to speed the clock up a little bit. I'm sure. I'm just thinking of ways to maybe, without changing all these big picture things that aren't going to change now, little things you could do to try and show something a little different. Maybe just speed it up a little bit and see if you could catch some rhythm. You could try running. You could run out of that too. Just speed it up a little. I don't know, man. But the bigger thing, Bruce, is I'm already in my brain. You got to go 10-2. That's my big mindset. But I'm already thinking down the road. Is Freeman doubling down on Parker, or are we doing something new? And who's the quarterback? Those are going to be the biggest offseason questions every Notre Dame fan has, and they're already in my skull, literally.
I don't know who is a viable option in the portal. I guess we don't know that yet. But do you want to go into next year building the type of team that you have with like a true freshman? Or maybe Minchie wins the job in the offseason. I mean, he's got a big arm. He's been in the system for a year now. So I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it
OC
is.
wise,
And we don't know all the
OT-wise is tough
information
too
either,
because you don't
Bruce.
want to go too far from your own DNA. So I don't know.
We don't know all the details either, because I don't know what the discussions are behind the scenes, what kind of transfer guys interested in Notre Dame. Like, I don't know any of that, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But those are some big picture things that I'm worrying about and thinking about already. And the fans are going to want to know, are you doubling down on Parker, betting that he's going to adjust year one to year two? Or is Freeman like, we need to do something else? This isn't what I had in mind. I don't know where his brain is, but we'll find out soon enough.
Yes, we will. All right. Thanks for the time, John,
Bruce,
man. I
thank
appreciate
you,
it.
man. Hey, happy Halloween. And then if you want to debate the Michigan thing, let me know. We'll record it for content. We'll debate it. We're not going to do it now, but if you want to, we can debate that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we need to do that. Although I'm sure I'll run the risk of looking like a Michigan fan, which I'm not. But yeah, we do need to do that.
Man, I'll just ask this. Have you changed your position a little bit, that where every day something else comes out that makes them look worse? Or are you steadfast that they're okay?
I'm steadfast. I haven't changed it. And I've talked to, I have a guy that, played in the Big Ten and played some pro ball. He does my college football analyst stuff. And he's telling me the same thing every other former player is saying, man, this stuff is not new. It's just, it looks bad and people don't like hardball. But like you said, we can get into that another time.
All right. Maybe we'll set that up. Hey, man, happy Halloween.
We do need to set that up.
Yeah. Hope you and the family have a good one, buddy. Thanks for the call.
Hey, you too, man. Take it easy.
See ya. Bruce, a good dude. Good dude. 937. Welcome to the show. Happy Halloween almost.
Hello. Yeah, happy Halloween, John. It's your favorite Buckeye fan. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm in full skeleton form of myself in the future. Buddy, you got a lot. You must have a lot going on in your mind. Talk to me. You got a lot in your world spinning around, buddy.
I do. So, I first want to give Notre Dame props. That was a great win this week. You guys are starting to really make our rank of schedule look really good, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And so I just wanted to give credit where credit's due. And also getting Clemson this week when they're down, I love it. Keep piling on top. That's what you guys can do it too. You guys have the ability to do that.
Yeah, man. And it's really, this is the biggest one left. And I want Notre Dame to be motivated by that. It's been a long grinding year with the middle being brutal. Like, you could see the light of 10-2 at the end of the tunnel. That's the best you could do. And you got to have this one. Wake and Stanford are not Clemson. So this one you got to get. And I don't care if it's at Death Valley. It's at noon. It ain't at night. And they're undefeated and everything on the line. You got to get this one. I don't care what it takes. You got to have it.
John, I'm going to give you a question, and I want you to stew on it for a minute while I talk about Michigan. But at the end of this, if Notre Dame goes 10-2, which I think they will, who do you want to play in one of these big bowl games? Here, let me get to Michigan really quick. Reading some stuff out there that what we've seen so far is just the tip of the iceberg as far as what they've been doing.
Give it to me, baby.
And remember when I called you 2 weeks ago that this is a lot bigger than you thought. I mean, it's already way bigger than what you thought 2 weeks ago. So,
I love it.
I'm reading some things that they were getting into practice film from Ohio State. They somehow illegally accessed practice film, and
baby,
yeah, this is gonna get crazy.
Now here's my question though. My question is, the NCAA moves slower than freaking molasses. They're not going to be done with their investigation until like 20 years from now. My question is, how much needs to come out now bad for the Big Ten to step in and go, as a defender of our reputation and all the other schools you've been screwing that you're supposed to be, working with here? We're not, you could play Ohio State, but you ain't going to the playoff no matter what. We need to do something. Is there any risk of the conference actually stepping in to defend the other members and their reputation? Or are they going to be like, it's Michigan, we got to keep rolling with them and then hope the NCAA backs down? Is there any chance of that?
Man, I don't think. Okay, so I think that if they let them play Ohio State, then they have to let them go to the postseason. I think the only way that they wouldn't let them go to the postseason is if they could somehow make sure that Ohio State was going to be unblemished and they could make the playoff.
Yeah.
Like, I think at this point, it just makes more fiscal sense to have at least one team make the playoff. And
yeah,
my question is, how good are they really, like that? Because I hear some football people, I hear like it on both sides. And they say it doesn't mean a lot, and it does mean a lot. But I've done the percentages. Let's say 50% better Ohio State's offense would have been last year. That puts us, if I add half of the points that we scored to our score, that's like 36 points.
well,
and then I take 25% of the points off of theirs for defensive purposes. That's 34. So the game would have been 36-34. That's not like a big, you know what I mean? That's not like a big thing to get around. I mean, I think that it's a lot bigger deal than what some of these sports guys think.
And you know what else is bugging me? Here's the other part of this that's been coming out that's bugging me is a lot of the Michigan defenders right now are saying, well, now that this got exposed, there's no excuses the rest of the year, whatever happens. Like this is out now and they're not going to be able to do it. So, there's no excuses and Michigan's going to earn it the rest of the way legit. It doesn't work that way to me, man. The momentum you built and the confidence you built cheating all year matters now. Even if you're not cheating,
Exactly.
You beat the shit out of everybody, doing it the wrong way, building that confidence, building that momentum, having things rolling. That you gained all of that illegally, even if you're not doing the sign stuff. You shouldn't have all that illegal momentum and all of that.
Yeah, I think in Tennessee, there's a really good football team. I can't remember, high school team. And like they had one player that they found out wasn't technically eligible to play, and they had to forfeit all those wins. So to me, if you're cheating, that's even worse than that. So,
dude, that's the other thing I hear is the only way you can make a team ineligible is like if a player is deemed ineligible because they get a bag of money or something and you find out and then they're illegally playing or whatever. This supersedes that. Like I don't get the Michigan people are going, you can only make guys ineligible if a guy did something or whatever. This is above that. They're all ineligible because it's illegal information they're playing with. The team's ineligible.
Well, I think what the funniest thing about this is that the Michigan fans want to say Jim Harbaugh knew nothing when there's video evidence of the whole team standing behind this guy, and he's like telling the players what to say. Like the whole team knew what the jig was up, and also there's an interview out there with the Lions, the Hutchinson. I think he played for them.
Oh yeah,
and he didn't deny it. He didn't even deny it.
And then
he had a chance to deny it in an interview.
He even said he did. And then in another one, he goes, that's the kind of guy that you don't see a lot. And he's up in the booth and you don't really recognize or see. And then 1 second later, I found a picture of him with his arm around the guy celebrating. I'm like, buddy.
Oh, yeah. They're buddies.
You ain't. So I don't know. And here, I don't want to make this all about that. But let me ask this. What do you think happens with Jimmy Boy after all this? Is he just going to go to the league and try and Pete Carroll this thing and get the hell out of here, or what?
No, I think he's going to go to the league, but I don't think he's going to be a head coach. I mean, what NFL team and fan base would get super excited for him because he's going to be suspended for a few games? I mean, he's going to have that Jim Tressel treatment. And the league has come out and said that if he's suspended, that he's going to have the suspension, in the NFL. So I think he's going to go to the league, become an analyst, probably for his brother, for a year, and then a year or two later, he'll try to get a head coaching position.
Interesting.
I think that's what will happen.
The guy's got a boatload of money. Can't he just take a year off and let the heat die down? Like, why does he have to do something all the time? He's millionaire. He could just take a year to let the heat cool off and sit in the Michigan woods or something. So.
Hey, if Urban Meyer leaves to coach somewhere, then he could take his spot on the Fox Big Noon Kickoff. I mean, I'm sure Fox would love to have him, for a year. That would be must-see TV, right? So
I don't even think it would. No, I actually don't think it would be must-see TV. You know why? Because that guy is an extraterrestrial and has no basic interaction skills. He's the last guy I want to see on He's the last guy I want to see on a set because you can't even talk to the guy like a normal person.
I mean, that might make it really funny, though. That's going to make for some funny. He might have his shirt off up there,
freaking weirdo.
Doing conversations. The guy is so weird, but
he's a weirdo. And then the other thing, here's the other part. I'm trying to figure out a way Michigan can miss the playoff with one loss. So I need you guys to beat them.
They have one loss. They're not getting in the playoffs. There's no way.
Follow me. But I need you guys to beat them, and they have one loss. And then I need as many of the conference champs to be undefeated to keep them out. You don't think they're going to get in if they have one loss? It's only to you guys. I think you're both getting in.
No way.
You think?
Well, their current schedule ranking on ESPN is 111.
Oh, since when does that matter?
I know the Sagarin likes their schedule.
Since when does that matter to this committee, dude? I hear them talk about it all the time, but when it comes time to flop your sack out, they never do anything against anybody with the soft schedule. They talk about it, but at the end of the day, if you're in a Power 5, they default to that, and they don't penalize you for playing nobody. I'll believe that only when I see it not talked about, acted on.
If we can beat them, John, the committee's gonna look at that and say, well, it looks like it's true. The only reason why they beat Ohio State is because they had all their signals. You're not going to want to bring a team. I mean, there would have to just be such mass chaos to even consider Michigan if they lose a game.
Oh, I hope so.
Honestly,
dude, I got to tell you, man. I don't know the last time I was this excited about a game Notre Dame wasn't in. The game between you guys is already so intense and so hate-filled. Adding all of this personal animosity into this, I cannot remember a game Notre Dame wasn't in I was this excited about, of the energy of the pure feelings of hatred, and it warms my soul. I love the hell out of that, man. That's college football. I love it.
Right. I love it. I'm a little bit nervous, though, because this quarterback we have, he's the worst quarterback we've had in probably 15 years. So I'm a little bit nervous about him. The rest of our team, though, even our offensive line, in my opinion, has really gotten a lot better. And I think everybody else besides our quarterback is going to be ready. So we're going to have to win defensively. I think it's possible. And I don't think Michigan's played anybody yet. So I'm real excited. I'm excited for that year. I just hope that both of us, I don't hope that both of us are undefeated. I hope they lose to Penn State. I hope they lose to Penn State in Happy Valley.
But the problem with that is Penn State's offense sucks, man. It's just not good.
Yeah, well, if they can't, if they can lose the Penn State and Happy Valley, then we sure as hell could beat them. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Now that you got a chance to kind of think of that question I said to you, who would you like to play in the bowl game? I'm curious.
Here's how I look at this. There's two different paths there, depending. I'm glad you remembered that because I forgot about it. There's two different paths there, depending on what's available on the menu. One path is there a way you could match up against a team that's like the lowest level team that would make that kind of game, and then it's an advantage for Notre Dame to knock off the big bowl game thing, like Air Force or somebody weird where you line up with them because of however, and then Notre Dame maybe has an easy track to kill that big game bowl narrative. The other angle, though, is matching up with the Saban, or maybe matching up with my buddy down in the swamplands. That's exciting. Like, that would be not a playoff game. If you matched up with 2-loss Kelly or 2 or 3-loss Kelly and then Notre Dame Freeman with a couple losses, you want to talk about juice for a game that doesn't have a lot on the line, really, that would be it.
Yeah, I would love to see you guys play Bama. I think one thing that I don't think people are thinking about is that Saban, he did buy that house down in Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be super focused on football. And they're offensively challenged. I think they could be ripe for the picking. I know Notre Dame has their offensive problems, but I don't think the game would ever get out of hand where Notre Dame they could be in it the whole game. So I would love to see you guys knock off Saban. That would be really great.
Yeah. So I don't know, man, but the first mission is 10-2, and then I hope that it lines up. You could get an opportunity in one of those games. That's the best we have out there for us right now. But man, I appreciate the call, and we're all following this story, and it's going to get more interesting. I got used to the news drop, and the weekend threw me off because it wasn't as much news. I need to get back into that. I want to get done with its show, get on Twitter, and see a whole bunch of new stuff. That's what I want.
Yeah. It's like this is like the 12 days of Christmas, man. It's awesome.
It is. I love
Every day there's a new gift.
Every day. I love it. I want more of it, and I want those people on edge. I want them to always worry the other shoe's going to drop. I want that worry for that group of people that I don't like.
One last thing. Your Twitter with Steve Deese. Oh my gosh, that is Twitter gold, man. Twitter gold. I love it.
Oh, I got his number pegged, dude. And he lives a double life on there. And his other account is all morals, all doing the right thing, all telling everybody else how they should act and believe. And everything's about what would God do on his second account. Then he's on the Michigan account, and it's all cheating's good. Do whatever you want. I don't care. We did nothing. I don't respect it. Little Stevie's mad because his boyhood hero is a 0 and he refuses to accept it and he can't get over it. That's Steve's problem, okay?
Exactly. That is true. 100% his childhood hero. You know what's funny? He would have threw his childhood hero under the bus 3 years ago.
Oh, I know he did. Dude, I've been following Steve forever. He did 8 episodes saying the Harbaugh's era is over. You got to get rid of the guy. And now he's defending him till the hilt. Stevie's a flip-flopper, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Well, keep it up with that. I call him the Michigan Doughboy. That's what he is.
Oh, little Stevie, and he's got his alter ego, and he switches accounts, and it is a total flip from one of those Twitter accounts to the other, and how he operates. And I don't respect that. I can't let him do it.
Well, thank you so much, John, and have a great day.
Have a good one, buddy. Oh, man. All right, let's keep it rolling. I got a 336, a 972, and an 818. 336, you're up in the mix. Happy Halloween, almost.
Yeah, happy Halloween. So, I'm going to start with this. So, I called in a couple weeks ago, and apparently I need to admit to being wrong. I need to admit to being wrong first. I got that USC thing completely wrong.
Oh, did
I couldn't know how you could play that poorly against Louisville. Couldn't stop Louisville when they're mediocre, and then turn around and beat USC. So I'll take the blame. I'll take responsibility for being wrong on USC.
Hey, I'm just
which I'm glad about.
I'm just glad that we put them in their place and started this downfall. And they're lucky they won by a point the other night. They didn't even deserve that win, giving up 49.
It's going to get worse because have you seen the remainder of their schedule?
It's brutal. Good luck against Washington. Good luck against Oregon. And, UCLA could probably play with them too. So they got a couple more losses coming their way, at least a couple.
Yeah, I've been looking at their schedule and I'm like, oh, okay, so they're going to be like 7-5 at the end of this?
Yeah, dude, it's wild. And I'm here for all of it. The media's melting down. Lincoln Riley doesn't have any answers. They all want to fire the DC. It's a mess. So I need them to catch a couple more losses. And that would make me really, really happy. What do you feel about where Clemson's at right now, our next opponent? I feel like they have a lot of talent, but they're playing bad football, and that's a dangerous combo. What are your thoughts on that?
So I have been a herald of doom for Clemson for the last couple of years. I've been heralding that they were going to fall off. I didn't expect it to be this bad, but I've been saying for a while, I'm like, I think when I think it was Trevor Lawrence's last year there, I'm like, well, once he leaves, do they have the pieces in place to replace him? And then losing Scott and Elliott and Venables, their coordinators all counting off, and it's like the stability of the program kind of isn't there anymore. And Dabo's trying to patch it together, and I'm like, I don't know if he's as good of a coach as people made him out to be, or if he was just a good general manager that had good coaches around him.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I've seen a lot of complaints from the Clemson people about that offensive staff. There's a lot of newer guys without a lot of experience, and they're saying you're just not getting any development. The coaching isn't good, like basic stuff. They're not doing a good job of. And so they have issues, but they're a dangerous team. They're not just going to roll over because Notre Dame comes to Death Valley. So Notre Dame's going to have to play a really good game, lead with your defense, get in Klubnik's face, steal some possessions. He'll give you the ball if you heat him up. I need it.
And I've watched Clemson this year, and for most of the year, like I've been watching, I'd be like, their only offensive weapon is the running back, Shipley, which I know that's a toxic thing to say on your program.
Yeah, that does hurt me. It does hurt me. Although we ended up in a good spot, but in the moment, I was really mad because that was a Notre Dame fit with the grades, the family life, the athlete, and we didn't get him. Now the issue is he went into, I think, concussion protocol. I don't know whether he's going to be cleared and ready to play against us, or whether you're going to get Maffa, who's their second guy that everybody down there seems to think a lot about as well. I don't know how that's going to shake out.
From what I've been reading, it looks like he's already pretty much been, like, they're not even counting, the Clemson fan base isn't even counting on Shipley. Like, they're not even talking about him playing this week. They already have written him out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was waiting to hear more. And I just think it's dangerous. Do you agree, man? Like, that record does not tell the story of their talent. Like, and that is dangerous because you see the 4 losses and go, oh, we should beat them, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It isn't talent. They have a top 10 roster in terms of raw talent. That's just a fact. They're just a mess. And I need Notre Dame to go in there and win this damn game.
My question for Clemson is, okay, do you guys have this is going to say a lot about the character of the program, because you got a bunch of guys who signed up to play football at Clemson thinking, you know, a couple of years ago when they were on their playoff run, thinking when I get there, we'll be a playoff team and we'll be, you know, the glory will be mine then. And now they're 4-4, and do they stand up and say we want to make a stand and try to make a bowl game here, or do they say I didn't sign up to be 4-4?
Yeah, and the danger is you catch them the way they catch us the way we caught them last year. I mean, we're not undefeated the way they were, but I mean in a position where you're at home, everybody's counting you out, you don't have a lot to play for, and you rise up for the purpose of ruining somebody else's life and your own pride. Like, where are they at in that level? Or are there guys that are starting to kind of check out a little bit? I just don't know where they're all at. Dabo's grasping for straws. That dude has no answers, and the media is losing their patience with him. It ain't the easiest dynamic down there right now.
I am of the opinion that, I mean, I think the most likely thing, Occam's razor here, is that these guys signed up to be playoff teams, and now they're 4-4, and they're sitting there looking like, are we supposed to care about going to the, you know, the Meineke Car Care Bowl or something?
Yeah.
Or the Idaho Bowl or whatever? Like, I think the most likely thing that happens is check out. But who knows? I mean, they could turn up and be like, let's be extremely motivated. I think that's less likely.
Yeah.
But it could go either way. And they will tell you a lot about where Dabo's program is. I think he may have lost the team after the Miami game when he called out when he basically blamed the loss on Klubnik.
Yeah.
Said
Man,
that he could have handed the ball. It was a run call, and he pulled it, and
I don't
basically
even understand
he made it bad.
that. I'm unclear whether he missed a play call or went rogue on his own, because that was not an RPO. That was a handed off, and instead he ran out of bounds. I don't get it.
But even if you have that complaint in your head, if you're Dabo, even if you have that complaint in your head, you can say that. You can say that when you're doing film study and film review with the quarterback in the locker room where no one can see you. You can't go out in front of reporters and say that. Because now it seems like, so anything that I do wrong, like the blame is always going to be on me. It's never going to be on Dabo. Can't say, I'm not coaching well enough. Same thing that.
It's just a mess. It's a mess. And the other part is, I love that this game's going to be 11 a.m. my time. I absolutely love it. It isn't a night game. They don't even get the 3:30 window. They're getting the Northwestern Big Ten 11 a.m. window, man. That's where they're bumped down to for their home games now.
Well, I'll say this. The one thing I don't love about that, I live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's like a 4.5, 5-hour drive down to Clemson.
Yeah.
I'm making that drive on Saturday to go to the game, which means I got to be on the road at like 6 a.m. I don't love that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It gives all those people less time to chug a bunch of beers and get all loud and everything else. I love it. Give me that 11 a.m. window. And I want Notre Dame to win that game so I can relax and then watch Alabama LSU that night in peace with a big win in my pocket. That's John's path for the week, people. That's it.
I have a question though. So we've been talking about Clemson and their issues, and obviously USC and their horrible end of their schedule. Your buddy Pete, the Clemson dude.
Yeah.
What has he been about this season?
When I've talked to him and a couple of my other Clemson guys, there's some really nice guys that cover Clemson. Like the opposite of Michigan people, like legitimately nice people that cover Clemson that I've become friends with. They're really upset with the coaching. They believe that offensive staff is amateur hour, and they have guys that are inexperienced. They're getting no development, no proper coaching, and a lot of basic stuff isn't being done. And it's just kind of making it impossible for them to put it all together on the field. Klubnik, they don't think he's been developed or catered to the right way to get him ready for the moment. And so there's a lot of complaints about the coaching and the development and what's going on. Primarily all on offense. They're pretty happy. The defense isn't the reason they're in this position. It's that offense. And Klubnik is struggling. That dude sees more ghosts than you see on your screen. Okay?
Okay, and the last thing, you mentioned the Michigan people, the Michigan, not like the fans, but the people who do what you do sort of thing. I don't know how to describe it, because like you're outside media basically, sort of thing.
Yeah,
like
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Who is that? Because I watched a guy a couple years ago. I watched him after one of the blowouts they had against Ohio State, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to watch Michigan lose to Ohio State or to basically anybody.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's name was like, I can't remember his name, Steve Deese or something like that.
Yeah, it's the Michigan podcast, Steve Deese. That's who I was just talking about. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. It's complete and total, like, just absolute meltdown. And I was just like,
oh, he's losing his mind on Twitter. Steve is tweeting 400 tweets per hour defending Michigan. He's absolutely gone unhinged. He's lost control of his mind. He's absolutely losing it. His childhood little boyfriend, wannabe Jimmy Harbaugh, that he grew up worshiping, his idol. It turns out he isn't all he's cracked up to be, and Stevie can't handle it. His little hero isn't what he thought. He can't handle it. I'm here for all of it.
So I have a question about Michigan. people have been saying like, oh, from this point they'll be clean because they have too much looking at them. I have a question. Is there any evidence that proves that this was the only way they were cheating?
I don't know.
Because if they were doing this,
they'd be real dumb. They'd be real dumb to have anything else cooking right now. That's my take. Like, they would be real dumb.
But they proved they were done with this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to see where this leads. And here's what I need. I don't think they're going to keep them out of the playoff. That would surprise me. So here's what I need. It's a 3-step program. Number one, I don't care about the Big Ten title. They just can't win a national title. Then I want Harbaugh ran off. And then I want all the sanctions and whatever's going to come to it. I need a 1, 2, 3 where they don't win the title. They have 20 guys go to the league. Harbaugh leaves to get out ahead of this. And then it all crumbles down and they got to burn it down and rebuild it. And it all falls apart. That's what I need. It's a 3-step process, bro.
So we watched USC last year when Notre Dame played USC and how the referees, because Notre Dame was pretty much already eliminated from the playoffs at that stage. They were like a 3-loss team or whatever.
Yep.
How the referees in that game started, they didn't call anything in USC until like the midway through the fourth quarter when the game was already out of hand.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things where we're sitting there watching, we're like, this is ridiculous. So like they're clearly helping USC. So what I'm wondering is, A, if the Big Ten doesn't say anything officially, do they start saying to their refs, hey, let's not risk Michigan being our representative here. Let's not risk that because they might get if they win the national title, they might get it stripped, and we don't want that to be. We don't want to be associated with that part.
Yeah, man. So it's a tough position to be in. It's that new Big Ten commissioner is in a really tough position. It is his first year on the job, so he doesn't have a lot of like long-standing credibility within the conference. All the other teams are mad at Michigan and then will probably want him to do something. He's in a position where he knows what a big brand that is, and he's one of their cash cows. They're one of their cash cows, and you don't want them to not have a playoff run, but you don't want the embarrassment of having to rescind it later or whatever. It's just a bad spot to be in. I hope more news keeps coming out and it adds up and it gets so bad, somebody's got to do something in the moment. That's what I hope for. Probably won't happen. But that's what I want inside my skeleton soul.
And the other thing I would say is I don't agree. I would say most years 1-loss Michigan probably makes it into the playoffs. With everything that's going on here, I think the committee would look at them and go, oh, let's just go somewhere else. Let's just do something else. We don't want to.
You know what? That could give them a reason to. If they have 1 loss, then maybe they could be like, we'll rank them 5th and we'll be able to get out of having to deal with this whole problem. And if they have a loss, we could justify they lost to Iowa State and then their schedule sucks and then ding them for that. You could do that too. You could.
I think like if you had a 1-loss Michigan versus like a 1-loss Texas Big 12 champion, and they get to that spot, and it's like, let's say Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State are all in, and Washington has lost at that point, and they're saying Michigan or 1-loss Texas, 1-loss Michigan, 1-loss Texas. I think they would look at this and go, let's just instead of risking Michigan, putting Michigan in, and then having NCAA vacate wins and take away a national title, and we've been complicit in this when we knew in advance that this investigation was going on. I think they would look at this and go, let's just put Texas in and leave Michigan out.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if that's how it ended up going, they have a bigger win too. Like they would have a bigger win on their ledger on the upside from what they did earlier in the year, right?
Well, I mean, Alabama and probably whoever they would beat in the Big 12 championship game at this point would probably be bigger than Penn State. So
man, it's interesting. I want everything bad for them. Hey man, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. Have a happy Halloween, right?
There was one more thing. We mentioned Will Shipley before.
Yeah.
And I complaint with the Will Shipley recruitment was this. You went all in on Shipley and you ignored Donovan Edwards, who was a highly rated running back as
Yeah.
well. And it's like, if they had missed on Shipley and got Edwards, I think we would have been like, we still landed a top five running back. Now, Estimate's been great, so it didn't blow up in our face. But
You
that
are
was
right,
my
though.
point.
They did go all in on that one, and that's vulnerable when you don't have a something else to go. It worked out for Notre Dame, but in the moment, Shipley was a Notre Dame fit and had the grades and everything, and we didn't get him, and I was mad. Turns out we're going to be fine. I have bigger things to worry about, but I wanted that kid in the moment.
Yeah. All
Hey,
right.
buddy, have a good one. Thank you for the call. Have a good Halloween, man.
Yeah, you too.
Take it easy, brother. 972. Then I got an 818 and a 385. Makes it come alive, unlike me today. 972. What the hell? My screen's frozen. There we go. 972. What do you want to do?
John, how hot is that mask?
It is, dude. I'm sweating bullets. You have no idea. It is. I am sweating, but I don't care. It's all about presentation. I am dripping under here. It's a little hard to see and really hard to breathe, but we're doing it anyways because the show needs it.
I appreciate you taking one for the team.
No problem.
I wanted to call and talk about the young recruits and how they're playing. I'm really impressed with Christian Gray this weekend.
Yeah.
And I saw Drake Bowen playing quite a bit this weekend.
Mickey.
I can't remember the last time we had this good of a young class that was playing, like since the early Charlie Weiss days.
Now, wait. I love this. I really love this talking point, man. It's been one of my biggest takeaways from this game and this year overall, now that we're approaching the light at the end of the back end of the year. Tell me if I'm a Notre Dame homer or what the deal is. I feel like I am seeing Notre Dame's program start to make a shift. They seem more athletic. They seem like they're getting more team speed. I feel like there is more depth and there's more guys that can contribute without a drop off. And I feel like the young guys are playing with more confidence, more quickly to get on the field. And I feel like that is a great sign of where this program's trying to get. Is that just me being a Notre Dame guy and wanting that, or do you think that's the reality as well? That's what I think.
No, do you remember when we played Alabama in 2012 and Aaron Taylor was there and he was in the hallway and he went on a TV show later on saying, hey, they got to get different guys. It didn't look like they're playing the same sport out there.
Yep.
I mean, you look at the Alabama line and our line, it did not look close to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And now
And then
you got people now saying Notre Dame's the one sometimes that lines up out there with big, strong guys that has that look. Like there have been people saying Clemson's people do not look like Notre Dame's people anymore. Like Notre Dame has a physical advantage over those dudes body to body now. That you could never say that before.
No, do you remember we played Clemson in 2018 in the playoff and Julian Love got hurt and we had no quarterbacks at all?
Yeah. Yep.
And now we've got four corners deep.
Man, they're playing good too. That defense is playing so good right now. Like they are flying around and it's just good to see. But the younger guys, man, that's a big deal to me. Seeing Mickey flying around, having Gray make a play. Like, I love all that. Xavier Watts being rewarded after the position switch. Like, I love all that, man. Like, there's a lot of really good things going on right now with Notre Dame. It's just they're not a put together championship unit right now. They have steps to go, but there's a lot to like.
And the one other thing I wanted to say, primarily to Gouldsby, who I love. I love his take on everything. But as much crap as he gives Hartman, man, like how do you expect that guy to throw all these passes with no one downfield open? Like the reason he's holding the ball so long is no one's open. Like you got to give the guy a little bit of a break here.
Yeah, man, I just keep going around and round with him. And his position is you guys got excited because you thought this was going to solve the quarterback thing, give you what you want without having to develop it, and that he was going to like make it all better. And he's just not that guy. He doesn't think he has a level to where he can just on his own raise everything that's going on. And he goes, I don't care if you don't have wide receivers. Make a play if you're that good. Like, make a play. Throw somebody open. Do something like, and I I just don't know what to blame, how to parse out the blame. Parker, the receivers,
God, of course we're going to
Hartman, I
overreact.
don't
We're
know.
fanatics.
I don't know.
Of course we're going to overreact. We're fanatics. Like, that's what we do. Like, of course we're going to do that.
It's like, I mean, that's what the Notre Dame fan base is. That's what we do. Maybe he looks at it different as a former player. Maybe that changes his mind frame in some way. But he said, he's like, you guys all got over the moon about this guy. And he goes, he's not single-handedly making this all better the way you all wanted. So I don't know.
Good point. Good point. All right, last thing, John, I'll let you continue with your show. Would you rather take Alabama and Tommy Reese in the bowl game or Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing. Could you imagine the buildup for that if it was Notre Dame and Brian Kelly LSU? I would absolutely love it. It would just be for a non-playoff matchup. The buildup for that would be incredible, and I'd love the run up to it. It would be amazing. And whether it goes good or bad, there would be a lot of meat on the bone to do these shows. Like it would, I want Kelly. It'd be so much fun. It'd be a riot.
I would love to see our defense shut down Tommy Reese, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and that's a personal. I mean, I just have a personal vendetta against Kelly, and I always will. So I admit my biases there against him. But for now, you gotta go ahead to go to Death Valley on Halloween week and put them out of their misery and get in the clubhouse at 10-2 and see where it falls, and hopefully win a big bowl game. Man, there's still a lot to play for this team.
All right, John, have a good one.
Have a good one, man. Thank you for the call. Happy Halloween. And he told me all that he heard and seen. Jaden Daniels, man, that kid's athletic. Really athletic. $5 holler. I say we repeat last week's score against Clemson. Let's do this. 10-2, play USC again in a New Year's 6 and win. I didn't even think about that. That'd be awesome. We'd be on the Utah path where you could beat them a couple times. Prime time with the $2 holler. Thank you for the Halloween shout out. Really appreciate it. 818. Good morning and happy Halloween to you, sir.
Michigan Wolverine football. You sold your soul for football glory. And as the Reaper sits at your doorstep, you will rest in peace.
I like that. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Hello?
John, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, John, so I'm thinking here, I'm driving, man. Sorry, it's one of those days where we'll see if the reception's good enough or not. I'm thinking to myself, for all those people saying, yeah, sign stealing, whatever, a lot of teams do it, you still got to make the play. If that were the case, John, my simple response is, okay, you might be right. Then why invest that much time and money into it if it doesn't make that big a difference?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Makes
You don't
no sense,
create,
right?
you don't create a budget for it. You don't create a document for it. You don't create a travel schedule for it. And you don't set all this up if you don't believe it helps. So that is a bad excuse because all of their actions show that they thought that it did help. So that's a big help. It's a joke.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, this is going to be very, very, very interesting now, seeing how not only, okay, there's a lot of factors now right now. Okay, so they're not able to steal signs anymore. Every team's figured it out. The other part of this is how much of this killed momentum for Michigan? How much of this now give every team they're going to play a little bit extra oomph now to beat them because of it? How does the refs now officiate Michigan? Okay, and how does the playoff committee look at an undefeated Michigan juxtaposed against other undefeated teams that didn't cheat? John, this is fascinating. I don't know if I've ever seen anything
I
like
know what
this.
they're going to say. I know what they're going to say, dude. They are going to get asked about this Michigan thing tomorrow night on their show, and the committee chair is going to say, this is an ongoing pending NCAA investigation. All we can do is look at the results on the field and nothing else. I would bet you money that's what they're going to say tomorrow when they rank them 1 or 2. They're going to get asked, and then they're going to say, hey, it's an ongoing thing. We're not going to judge on it until it's finally adjudicated, and then usher them right into the playoff. That's what I think is going to happen, and it's going to piss me off.
Well, John, and you know what? You make a good point, but here's the thing. That's how they have to look at it right now. And as far as tomorrow night goes, you're probably right. But the first time Michigan plays different than the way they've been playing, even if they beat Penn State, but they don't look as good doing it, okay, they look clearly different, then you're going to see that start to pop into the committee's mind. Now, to the other side of it, if Michigan continues to dominate, okay, now you might wonder how much did that really affect. So it's just very fascinating for us as football fans to be able to watch and see how this plays out.
Yeah, man, this is just uncharted territory, you know, and people are going, well, it would be unprecedented for, you know, some sort of discipline and this kind of thing in the season. That's never happened. It's unprecedented. So is the level they went to cheat. It makes perfect sense. You would have to do something unprecedented because nobody's ever taken it this far before. Unprecedented actions require unprecedented consequences.
Well, that's why I say it's so fascinating because you got all those elements around the table, and we're waiting to see, okay, how does this now going forward? How is this going to affect, you know, so many things? I mean, how does this affect the Michigan team? Or do they play with, you know, do they have even more of an underdog feel going into it now because they want to prove everybody wrong and they really are that good?
Yeah. They're going to be fired up. I mean, they are ultimate us against the world now. Screw everybody. They're going to be fired up.
That's true, but so will Penn State and Ohio State, and hell, for that matter, Purdue and whoever was it, Maryland, they got to play still, something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know who it is. But the point is, man, this is going to be very, again, it's going to be very fascinating as a college football fan. You said it best, man. I mean, it's weird going into these next few games. Of course, we can talk about Clemson. We can talk about, you know, Wake Forest in a couple weeks here, of course, and Stanford. But boy, that Ohio State, and to some degree, Penn State Michigan game, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing those games on the field because I want to see how this, you know, sign-stealing allegations, how much this is now going to affect how they play, how other teams play, how they officiate, all that.
Yeah.
All that. John, one thing real quick before we talk to her name and all, I was thinking about this Pat McAfee thing, about, you know, some of the criticisms he's getting on game day.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me, and with the WWE reference to start the show this morning, I was thinking to myself, my issue with him is when he's on game day, he's not being Pat McAfee. He's not being the Pat McAfee of college football. He's bringing the Pat McAfee persona from WWE into the college football game day, and I don't think it's working. It's like, dude, that's not what they want to see. You're playing yourself on Monday Night Raw. You're not bringing the college football McAfee to the show, and I think that's where some of the problem is. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I've definitely noticed that he's bringing. It doesn't feel
that is interesting. And I know that there's some question of whether he will return or not. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is he is not a full employee of ESPN. He's like an independent contractor they hired so that if he crosses their line or whatever, they could get rid of him without like a big deal. That is a big note with his deal with ESPN. He is not like a salaried contract guy with all the ESPN stuff. He is outsourced independent contractor, so if he crosses a line, they can get rid of him easy. Interesting experiment, though. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I just think that there's part of that too. Is I think they're trying to, I think, consciously overcompensate for what they're not getting from Wake Forest that they used to get. And so it's almost like they're trying too hard, man. I think that's why big game kickoffs doing better, because it's a little more of a professionalism, a little less hype, a little more college football oriented show. And I think that's what's missing, man. Say what you want about Chris Fowler, when he's announcing games, but the guy really brought something to game day, man. When it was him and Hood Street, with Corso in the middle, and, Desmond would say with 2 cents or whatever, that worked really well. But the dynamic has changed. There's more, I don't think it works with McAfee being this rah-rah WWE voice. He's a college football guy, man. I mean, you can hear it in his past voice when he talks about it. But I think he needs to bring more of himself from the Pat McAfee show when he's talking about college football than the Pat McAfee of WWE. Just an observation.
Yeah,
that's an observation.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then before I let you go, because I'm going to pass out in my gear here, what are your thoughts on Clemson, man? They are 4-4, but they have a lot of talent, and they can beat Notre Dame if Notre Dame doesn't play good. So they're better than that 4-4, but they're begging to get finished off. What do you make of this week?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point, John. I think what, man. If they were a 3-loss Clemson team going into this game, I think you might be in for a classic. I really mean that. Like one that comes, at least the way the game's played on the field, the records would play that out. But the point is, I think Clemson at 3 losses still have a lot in front of them. I don't think Dabo's lost the program or lost the team. But I think probably they're going to handcuff for a while, John. But I just think when that momentum of losing is happening, you've lost something. I'm not saying they're not going to try and they're not going to make this their validation point. And certainly if Notre Dame doesn't come and match that intensity, they can get beat. No question in my mind, Notre Dame can get beat by Clemson in this game. But I believe if it plays out the way I think it's going to, I think it'll be tough early, probably very tough first half. So I think as the game goes along, Clemson will make the type of mistakes they've been making. And the Notre Dame defense is just playing lights out right now, man. I don't see that changing. I think it's going to continue. I think the Notre Dame offense will get better as this year comes to an end. But it won't be some dramatic improvement we'd like to see. But I think the defense and the special teams is really catching fire now, man. Especially those returns. I mean, it's beautiful. It's starting to, we're building momentum at the end of the year here. So I think it's a very close game in the first half, John. But I think Notre Dame will probably pull away, win by around 10 to 13 points.
There you
when
go.
It's all said and done.
Man, I would love that, man. That'd be a big win. And then 10-2 looks more like a reality. Hey, man, thanks a lot for the call. Have a good Halloween, all right? Talk to me later in the week.
Yeah, you got it, John. Rest in peace.
There we go. Have a good one, man. That dude always has something extra for you. 631, let's have a little fun, and then I need to get out of this mask for a minute. What's going on, 631? Happy Halloween. Good morning.
Happy Halloween, John. I love the mask. I love it. Looks great.
You.
Looks like Pat Narduzzi after the game.
Yeah, no kidding. Tell me about it. Notre Dame's in a little tricky spot here, man. Like the big picture goals aren't going to be reached. We're not making the playoff. But if you could go from having your second loss the first weekend of October to riding that out to 10-2 in a big bowl game, that's as good as you could do. And that's my focus now. Where are you at with all this?
Oh, listen, hey, if they can run the table, you know what? I'm happy for the big bowl game. Just got to win that big bowl game. They don't seem to be winning these big bowl games the last
my whole life.
What is it? What are we on? Oh, yeah, mine too. And it's a little frustrating, but I would like to see a nice bowl game win, especially one of the New Year's Six. But we'll have to see what happens,
Yeah. So I don't know. There's just a lot of moving parts right now, and there's a lot to love about Notre Dame, and there's some things to still question and be frustrated, like story of our lives. But Notre Dame's in a good position here, man. Clemson's reeling. Clemson's hurting. They're bleeding out. They're begging for somebody to drive the final stake through. And I mean, I just need Notre Dame's defense to go in there, rattle Klubnik, make him throw the ball to him. Do enough on offense, get this big win, man. I need it. This is what I need to end the year. Like, this is the last big moment, really, till the bowl game. You got to get it.
I see what you're saying. I see a Clemson win, and then I see them
I see them having a struggle against Wake Forest, even though Wake Forest isn't that good. I could just see them struggling with Wake Forest because they're going to come off of a bye, have Wake Forest, and then I don't know. I don't know. I'm not crazy about the Wake Forest. Clemson, I don't think there's going to be a problem with Clemson. I think that it's going to be a frustrating maybe first quarter, second quarter, but then at the end we'll end up pulling it out. But Wake Forest is the one, even though they're not good, like I said, I just think that could be a little bit iffy.
Yeah. And so did I read this right in the chat? You said you had a story or something. Did I read that right?
Yeah. So at the end of the game, me and my grandson went down to the players' gate where they come out, and we waited for the players to come out. Obviously, he wanted to see Sam Harmon. He's 10 years old. He wanted to see Sam Harmon. He wanted to see Estime there. So I said, okay, let's go down. I said, I'm not really good at knowing what these guys look like without their helmets on or their jerseys on. I can't really tell you what numbers they are. But he said, okay, that's all right. So we saw Mitchell Evans come down with the crutches, and he went up to him, and he said hello to him. And Mitchell Evans was very nice, and he didn't ask for an autograph because he was on crutches. So that was smart of him. I thought he was going to ask him, hey, can I get an autograph? And Mitchell Evans wasn't going to be able to sign it because I didn't want him falling down and
hurting the
getting
other
hurt.
leg.
But
yeah, sign an autograph, lose your
hurt
balance.
the other leg.
Hey,
Yeah,
by the
so,
way, wait. By the
Mitchell
way,
Evans
I don't want to ignore your story. I'm asking, do we have more clarification on his injury and the severity of such? I have not seen an update.
I haven't seen anything either. I checked yesterday on my way back. I live on Long Island. I drove all the way out to South Bend, me and the grandson and my wife, and it's about a 10-hour ride, 10, 11-hour ride, but it's totally worth it. We just go for the day, turn around and come back. But I've been looking all day yesterday. I didn't see anything with Mitchell Evans, and it's kind of quite concerning when you don't see something.
Yeah, so I don't know. But really good win by Notre Dame there. Take a huge blowout, getting big special teams play, big defensive plays. Like the offense did enough. I don't know what we're going to get against Clemson. I don't see them laying down. Clemson's not going to lay down.
No.
They're not going to do that at home. It's just a matter of you need to make them lay down whether they want to or not. You need to force it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't see them laying down. But just to finish off my quick story, then I'm going to hang up. I just wanted to say that all the players, the players are all very nice. A lot of them were very, very accommodating with the kids to write the autographs and take pictures.
And
Nana Stafford Menzel, what a
that's a big
nice
deal.
men. All night.
Yeah.
These guys are really nice guys. You know what? And we could badmouth them by saying that they're not doing their job out there, but in the end, they're halfway men, kids halfway men, and they're really well adjusted. A lot of them were willing to sign. Some of them just wanted to get out of there, and I understand. After 4 hours of playing football, you just want to get back and lay down or eat something, and they just walked around and didn't say anything, which is fine.
Yeah.
But most of them very nice and very, very accommodating. But that's what I really wanted to say.
Yeah. And
you know what? Go Irish.
It's such a big deal for the kids, man, too. Those are your heroes, and then you want them to be nice so that image kind of holds up. But I get that those guys can't just sign autographs for 20 hours. It's a very tricky dynamic there. But those Notre Dame guys, they're pretty polished, and they know the routine, and they usually handle things the right way. Great experience for the grandson. Happy you guys made it back and forth from New York. And then we hope Notre Dame beats Clemson, runs the table, and then we see what bowl we're going to, baby. That's the plan.
That's right. Let's go Irish, run the table, and let's get a good bowl game. And happy Halloween to you and yours. And I'll talk to you next time.
Perfect, man. Give me a call again. Thank you very much.
Will do.
Take care. Good one. Oh, boy. All right, people. John's struggling a little bit here. There's a lot of moisture building up in my head and in my ears. It's a little warm in here, so that's going to be it. So I could dry out a little bit. We do have a few more calls, you guys. I'm dragging right now. I just can't do it. I need to dry out for a minute. But it's just great to be here. Have a little fun on Halloween. Thank you guys for playing along with me. dude, I love Halloween. And so this is me in the future next time Notre Dame wins a title. We're just being realistic here, okay? This is probably what I'm going to look like next time it happens, all right? So, no, dude, just take the mask off. I am not going an hour and 34 minutes and blowing the facade. Are you out of your mind? I would rather end the show a half hour early than blow the whole thing by doing that. No, I will not. I would rather end the show 20 minutes early than blow the whole theme. No chance. No chance. I got other stuff coming to you guys today. You're going to see. I'll put out a short. You know I got to do something with me looking all dumb. I'll put that stuff out. I got a very interesting video in the morning coming out for you guys tomorrow. You got to check out. Be there, be square. Thank you to everybody that called, everybody that's chatting, everybody that donated, everybody. Have a good Halloween. Be safe. Have a little fun. Be nice to each other. Life's too short. Take it from me. Have a good one.